Hi, Christine here at the Craft Table. Welcome back. I am here to give you an update on what I crocheted this week and my health journey as it goes. It is Monday, September 6th. I'm a little bit late this week. I haven't worked on too many things crochet-wise, but I will show you what I did. First off, I completed my the Sweet Marshmallow Kiss blanket. This is going to Camp Boggy Creek. And here is my finished work. I added a small border of single crochet just to give it a more finished edge. Otherwise, it is a pattern by Trish at Mama Swift Crochet. She designed it, and Jax at Creations by Jax prepared a wonderful tutorial on YouTube to help you get started. And it's a wonderful pattern. I highly recommend it. Don't be intimidated by all the little bobble looking stitches. It is just 3 double crochets that you don't finish off until the very last one. Or I'm sorry, triple crochets. So you do the yarn over twice, but you don't finish that last loop to finish the stitch until you've done the 3rd one, and then you go through all 4 loops on your hook. And then it alternates with a front post double crochet around the last cluster in the previous row. And couple tips I would offer on this. I wasn't clear on how many rows to do each week. This was in conjunction with the Luck of the Draw 12, and every week they give you a number, and that number corresponds to a palette of colors that you have pre-chosen. I'll just show you real quick my colors. I used Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in this bright orange. Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn in coffee. I was going for fall colors. This is Karen Simply Soft in the color Pagoda. I Love This Yarn again in the color Terracotta, which I just love this color. I don't know why I am drawn to that color. And Karen Simply Soft in the color Gold. And lastly, the cream color is Pound of Love in Antique White. So that was my palette, and I numbered all the yarns, and then every week, like I said, they draw a number, and whatever number is drawn, that's the number you use next. Well, all I knew was I had to come out with a blanket that was 40 by 40 at the end, and I didn't do the math to figure out that I needed 4 inches per week to get through the 10 weeks of draws. So I only made it through 6 weeks, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I made it through 8 weeks instead of 10. And, oh, but what I was saying was I should have done more color or more rows. I think it should have been 3 rows per week, 2 or 3. And I did the middle right, but then I only did 1 row of each color per week for the first like 3 weeks. So for me, the middle is a little bit busy and those puffs didn't really get a chance to shine. Well, the cream ones do, but the color ones kind of get hidden. Anyhow, I increased my rows towards the end, and I really like the way that looks a lot better. So do your math at the beginning if you're doing luck of the draw to space out your colors and make the most of the pattern. This is a wonderful pattern. I am sure it would be great even in a solid color, or maybe using just 2 or 3 colors and alternate them so that you can have wider rows before you get to the blanket size that you are aiming for. And if you're aiming for Camp Boggy Creek, it has to be 40 by 40 if you're going for a square. I actually went to 41 by 41, but I think that'll be okay. Oh, my other tip. I had a habit of forgetting this front post double crochet. I don't know why. I would get to watching TV or listening to an audiobook or something, and I wouldn't realize it until I came all the way back around that I had missed that one. And if you miss it, I mean, you can go on, but you end up with this big gaping hole. You can see the holes are already a good size. So if you miss that double crochet, it really makes it bigger. So I ended up doing some frogging because of that, because I didn't want to have those big gaping holes. I actually let a couple of them go, I think, in the earlier rows. So my tip is go through every side once you finish it, just really quickly, and make sure that you've got those double crochet or front post double crochets in there. It's harder to miss one of the clusters because, you know, they take up so much room. It's really noticeable if you're going to miss it. But somehow these little front post double crochets they kept sneaking by me. And the bad thing about it too is they're actually around the previous cluster, so it makes the cluster, you know, pop out a little bit when you do that front post double crochet around it. So you don't want to miss them. So anyway, every time you do a side, I would just go back, and I started doing that finally. I got smart. At minimum, after you've finished a whole round, do that to save yourself from regret. Otherwise, I absolutely love this pattern. And I don't think I thought it was going to be a yarn eater, but I don't think it took that much extra yarn. This was a total of 1,563 yards for a 41 by 41 square. It is so huggable. It's like a pillow almost when you fold it up. I used a 6mm hook, and all of these were 4-weight yarns. Sweet Marshmallow Kiss by Trish. Mama Swift. If you don't know about Camp Boggy Creek, I will put the link in the description box below, and you can visit a video that will tell you all about it. But I'm happy to be finished with that blanket. 2 of the things I worked on this week, I actually took a pause from a couple of the things I was working on because it is my aunt's 80th birthday coming up, and one of my cousins had the wonderful idea of all of us cousins, as many of us as could remember and do it, sending her a special birthday card for her 80th birthday. And if you have a big family like I do, that doesn't always happen. That seldom happens. A few years ago, I made a point to remember my aunts on their birthday, and that was a lot of fun. And I was crocheting at the time, so I would crochet something for each of them. Maybe it was 2 years. And so I missed last year. And so this was fun to do this year. And hopefully it will start another round of remembering all of them. There's only like 5 now. 4 or 5. I lose count. Anyhow, I made this darling Houndstooth dishcloth for her. Hopefully she can use it at Christmas time for a cheery kitchen. This is a pattern by Annie Design Crochet, Carmen Heffernan, and it is free on her website, anniedesigncrochet.com. I will put a link in the description box. Super easy. It's just alternating 2 double crochets and 2 single crochets. The only challenge on this pattern is sewing in all your ends, because yes, you have ends for each row that you change color, because you're not coming back, so you can't carry it. Or I guess you could, but it would be complicated. So yeah, you have 2 ends on each side for every row. Now I did get smart and started weaving, or crocheting over one of the ends for each row. So I only had half of the number that I would have had. But that's still a lot of ends to sew in. So I actually stopped halfway through and sewed in those ends so it wouldn't be such a chore at the end. The colors I used, I love. Obviously white in Hobby Lobby Crafter's Secret. I really like this cotton. It's substantial without being as stiff as the Lily Sugar and Cream brand. I do use that also for kitchen items, but I prefer this Crafter's Secret. This color for the border is Vintage Green Stonewashed. Thought it was nice and cheery. I don't know that it's a Christmas green, but I really like the way it finished off this dishcloth. And the red color is Peppermint Twist, also Crafter's Secret cotton. And this took a total of 130 yards, about 63 yards of the Peppermint Twist, 57 of the white, and 10 of the green for the border. The border is just a single crochet, but it comes out so neat. It's a perfect square. I have not blocked it. I figured, what's the point? It's going to be used to wash dishes, hopefully. I see a couple of my ends tucking out, so I'll snip those. This is about 10 1/4 or 10 3/4 by 10 3/4 size. Yeah, so real happy with that. It has a much different look on each side. One's predominantly white and one's predominantly red, but love that. So that's for my aunt. And the last thing I worked on, I started another pair of socks. I'm enjoying my handmade socks so much, wearing them, that is, and I don't have enough, so I got started on another pair right away. This is also a pattern by Olga Poltava, but it's a different one. It's called her V-Stitch Socks, or I think the pattern on Ravelry is just called Simple Socks, but it's by Olga, and it is V-stitches, and they work up so fast. Obviously, it's V-stitches, and after you start the toe off, probably about the 4th or 5th row, you get into the V-stitches, and that's as far as I got on my first one. The yarn I'm using was a yarn I found on sale. I think it was Premier. Sugar Sake. 50% superwash merino wool and 25% bamboo and 25% nylon. There's the label. So, the color is Spun Sugar. A little bit different than what I've been working on, all those purples and blues. And I am using a 3mm hook. Her pattern says to use a 3.25, but I don't know if it's this yarn, but I'm finding the sock a little bit on the loose side. Even this one is not exactly snug, but I wear them for sleeping, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But I was a little surprised because I've made this pattern before and they fit fine and snug. But it is, I think it is a pattern with more nylon in it or something that makes it more stretchy. Maybe that was why those came out smaller. Anyhow, I'm enjoying those and enjoying how fast they're working up. Much quicker than a single crochet sock. One more thing. I worked up, this is my first attempt at a gift for my aunt. This was also a pattern. Actually, it was Annie or Carmen had accumulated a list of like 25 dishcloths on her website, but some of them were designs by other people. So this one was actually a design by someone else. This is called the Two-Sided Scrubby Dishcloth by Ashley Shoemaker. And I will put a link to her website also in the description box. So one side you use cotton yarn and one side you use scrubby yarn. And I used Scrubology cotton for the scrubby side in the color Emerald Pine, I believe. Yep. And I love this cotton in Parchment. So this is about a 6-inch square, and you make them, you're supposed to make them the same size, and then you stitch them together with a single crochet. You can see it's not that neat looking. My square didn't, I suppose I could block it for presentation purposes, but this was a bear to accomplish with the stitch pattern that was used for this one. I find with scrubby yarn, you want to be using a stitch pattern that allows you to work in the like chain one spaces or spaces between stitches, so you have plenty of room to find that hole because scrubby yarn can be a challenge to work with. And this pattern was I think it was just an alternating double crochet and single crochet and then working in the stitch, and it was hard to find those stitches using, I think it was a 5mm hook. So yeah, I was not happy with this. I mean, it's a cute little scrubby and I'm gonna keep it for myself because it certainly is functional, but it just does not give me good memories. I will not make this again. I'm sorry. The scrubby yarn was just too challenging for that stitch pattern. But it's a nice size scrubby, which I love. And you do have the versatility. You can use this side to wipe your counter, this side to scrub the dishes, and yeah, you put a little X in the middle so that they don't separate or start getting all wonky. So that's helpful. And the cotton side looks pretty. I think also I'm not crazy about how this yarn pulls, if that's the right term. I prefer a variegated that's just consistently busy throughout, or more of a stripe that's orderly. This randomness of these colors does not appeal to me. So for that, I think that's probably the main reason that I'm not, well, that and that it's not completely square for me, is why I'm not going to give it away. And then this scrubby yarn, sometimes you get into these really thick spots where, I mean, it's just not consistent. You'll get into something that looks like a knot, and it's just like, sometimes it's where they switch to the next color. sometimes their switch to the next color is just a knot, and yeah, I just work over them, but I know it's not meant to be pretty. It's more function than beautiful. But it's obviously I got this on sale. I will finish using it, but I will use a bigger hook. It recommends a 5.5. I will probably, oh no, 6.5. Well, there's the problem. This calls for a 6.5 millimeter hook, and I was using a 5 millimeter hook. So I think I created my nightmare myself. Yeah, 6.5 would be great. No problemo. I will make another one with that size hook. Now you couldn't do that with the cotton because that would be too big, I think. I don't know. Anyway, that's the other thing I completed this week. Okay, that's all the crochet. Lastly, my health update. I am not upset. I gained 0.2 pounds, so basically I stayed the same as last week. So I am still at, well, oh wait, no, that was, okay, I lost 0.2. I started at 205.4 and I ended the week at 205.2. So it was a loss, but it was only 0.2 of a pound, so basically stayed the same. But I didn't gain, and good news, I'm actually starting to feel stronger. I notice when I'm picking things up. Now I've been working with weights consistently since I started at the gym, and that was what, 2 weeks ago? I know it's not that long, but I can already feel a difference. I can actually make a few of these neck, I don't know if they're muscles or tendons and what stick out, and that's like never, I haven't seen those in forever. That's kind of cool. But yeah, my arms feel stronger, and even my legs. And believe it or not, I feel like I can see a little bit more definition in my knees. These are miraculous changes in this short period. So I'm really thrilled about that. But you know, my goal is mobility and strength. So those results are really encouraging me. And so yes, I still need to get to the gym today. So I will do that. It's always good to get it over with in the morning hours, because then you can just move on with your day instead of worrying all day about when you're going to get there. And it's already afternoon, so I do need to get going. I think that's all I have for you. I haven't been bad, you know, like fast food or buying donuts or ice cream. I did really well this week on that front. The only thing, like I would say regular, that I'm still eating is bread, and it's probably 2 slices a day, sometimes 4, because I bought this little French loaf and they're about this big, and I think I had 2 slices in the morning and 2 slices in the evening one day. But so yeah, bread's my thing. I know if I reduce that, I will probably see some results on the scale. But the thing is, I don't want to start feeling deprived, because I think that's where I went off a few weeks ago. It's probably a month ago now. I was being so good, drinking my smoothies, eating my veggies, and staying away from bread, that when I broke and I had that bread, I just kind of went for broke and had everything. And started buying cheesecake. So I don't know how much I need to cut out. I'm happy with the slow weight loss. It doesn't have to come off in 6 months. I took decades to put this on, so if I can just stay on a steady path downward, I'll be really happy. And to see myself growing stronger is Yes. Now, if I can just stay away from injury, we'll be good. Okay. I hope you all are doing wonderfully in your health journeys and doing what you can. I know there's limitations that we all deal with. You know, maybe some of us are more already to that point where we're stuck in a chair most of the time, or, you know, even bedridden, and it's hard. I know. I saw my dad go through that, and it's like your mind still wants to do so much, but your body will not cooperate. So I would just encourage you to do what you can. You know, there's lots of exercises you can do in a bed, even with exercise bands. My dad was using those for a while, with his arms and even his legs, and I can't think of the word, to fend off the inevitable that happens when we do not move, and we do not, when we don't use it, we do lose it, and that is strength. So, okay, that's all I have today. I'll see you next time. Take care.